Awareness Week is here, and as if on cue, you just heard from Keith, heavy rainfall and potential flooding are in the forecast. Meteorologists and insurance agents, both of them say the threat of flooding is something that should never be taken lightly. Our Jory Talley joins us in the studio with more. Jory.
Flood insurance is something insurance agents suggest regardless of whether or not you live in a flood zone. Weather has a mind of its own, and when there's flooding, water will pull up quickly, even in spots not known to flood.
When it rains, it pours. And in our part of the country, when it pours, it often floods. WCBI meteorologist Alex Puckett says potential flash flooding and area flooding are possible in the coming week.
Sometimes it'll take a little while for the rivers and the streams to catch up. You get that runoff back into the rivers and streams. That takes a little bit of time. So the accumulation of all that runoff further and further downstream, that's when you start to see the streams and the rivers crest, and that takes a little time after the heaviest rainfalls.
Puckett says some spots could get as little as 3 or 4 inches of rain, but others may see up to 6 to 8 inches.
I would tend to say our best chance to see the heaviest rain is going to be in the furthest northwestern parts of our area. So if you're north and west of the Natchez Trace Parkway, that's probably where some of the heaviest rain is going to fall.
8 inches of rain will flood areas that are not normally flooded. The areas that normally do flood will seriously be flooded.
State Farm insurance agent Denise Good says it never hurts to be prepared when there's heavy rain on the way.
Don't ever think that just because you're not in a flood zone that you will not flood, because water doesn't care where it goes. And so many times when water comes up in town, the creeks and the rivers, and we will have people that flood in areas that are not even in a flood zone.
Good suggests getting flood insurance even if your home sits in an area that could flood.
It's not that expensive, especially if you're not right in the flood zone. It's definitely within a price range, but the risk, to transfer that risk to the insurance company, I would absolutely recommend flood insurance.
But you need to plan ahead.
Flood insurance has a 30-day waiting period, and so when flood is imminent, it's a little too late to buy flood insurance. So you definitely need to address that before you have that chance of flood. We never really know when that's going to be because the weather is so unpredictable.
Puckett stresses to make sure your pets have adequate shelter and are placed in a nice dry spot, and to make sure they're not in an area that often floods.